Hello everyone, welcome to my Car Review 2025 official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hands up who knew that the previous Hyundai Tucson was sold in New Zealand in two different wheelbase lengths? If so, you're smarter than us. For the record, the regular Tucsons were, the regular size with a 2,755mm wheelbase. But the hybrid was only available for NZ via a factory in the Czech Republic, which happened to be a short wheelbase 2,680mm version, for markets that obviously thought the standard Tucson was just too big. In defense of us experts, Hyundai NZ never mentioned this sleight of hand, and the two were impossible to tell apart unless you had them side by side. The styling was expertly scaled for each, so they looked almost identical. We didn't have much experience of either anyway, with a review of the turbo petrol way back in 2021 and a first drive of the hybrid when it came along in 2022. Here comes Tucson 2 and it's all change again. The hybrid powertrain is now standard and production is coming from South Korea, so it's the full-length version. No need to be confused, ill-informed anymore. You can buy a Tucson 2 hybrid for $54,990, but ours is the flagship N-Line Limited. Well, the co-flagship, the Limited and N-Line Limited are the same $71,990. The N-Line is just a bit more sportily dressed, with a different grille, bumpers and body kit, and leather Alcantara upholstery. Oh, and a lot of N-Line badges. The hybrid uses the 1.6-litre turbo petrol engine as its base, with a 1.49 kWh battery and electric motor. But the electric motor is in the gearbox, which means you get a conventional 6-speed transmission and fully integrated AWD system. Having a proper transmission with gears is a big plus if you actually like driving. But it does have its downsides, too. The hybrid is smooth and runs on electric power a lot, but the gearbox can be a teeny bit sluggish in cut-and-thrust urban driving. We also wonder whether it's responsible for a bit of expectation reversal in terms of fuel economy. Normally hybrids are usually much more thrifty in town, but we struggled to better 6.5L 100 km in city driving, while more open road stuff saw the numbers drop down into the 5L range. Maybe that balance suits you better. It's easy to drive and really doesn't feel any different to a conventional combustion vehicle. All you really need to know is that those steering wheel mounted paddles are not for the gears, but to adjust the hybrid gen. It's a refined SUV to drive at modest pace, but it's not in the least bit sporty, despite all those N-Line badges. The Tucson quickly loses its cool when subjected to press-on driving. On bumpy roads it floats and the suspension takes a while to settle again, which can lead to little bouts of understeer and even some steering rack rattle. If you ignore the chassis protests, the Hyundai can even lurch over into rollover steer, where the lean angle encourages the rear end to ease out of line. Easily and quickly corrected by the stability control if it goes beyond a certain point, but it just doesn't feel very nice. It does have a decent turn of speed though, with 172 kilowatts combined. There are drive modes ranging from eco to sport, but the car doesn't feel that different between them. If you insist, there are also separate terrain settings for different off-tarmac situations. But yeah, it's definitely a vehicle to enjoy at a considered pace. Tucson has certainly upped its game in terms of interior design and comfort convenience. The new interior combines a dual-screen instrument panel and infotainment unit with a dashboard that's full of interesting textures, including a weave-type insert across the passenger side that looks and feels quite classy. Love the little shelf on the off-side, too, which has partitions and is actually quite useful. There are still plenty of shortcut buttons, but Hyundai has teched things up a bit with a center console touch panel for climate functions. There's more space in said console and lots more storage, because Tucson has shifted to an EV-style twist gear selector on the steering column. Nice touch, although it requires some patience when you're flicking back and forth between D and R during a 3-point turn. This one luxurious family SUV. The N-Line Limited has 10-way power adjustment for the driver's seat and 8 for the front passenger. It also has that characteristically Korean thing of seat adjustment buttons for the front passenger chair on the side of the seatback, so the rear seat occupant can reach them. Wait until the kids find them. There's heating for both front and rear seats, ventilation for the front and a grunty Bose stereo. Also standard at this level is surround view monitor, which gives you a video feed of your blind spot in the main instrument panel. And if you can't be bothered sliding your Tucson into a tight side-by-side parking spot, there's Reverse Smart Park Assist, which allows you to drive it while standing outside, using the key fob. Sounds gimmicky, but once you get the hang of it, it can be really handy. It's a nicely balanced, albeit expensive package of medium-sized hybrid technology and impressive luxury. We're tempted to say the Shiner Limited trim is more appropriate to the Tucson's dynamic character, but the N-Line trim does look pretty sharp. The N-Line Limited is the co-flagship of the new Tucson 2 lineup, at $71,990. The more luxury-themed Limited is the same price. The hybrid powertrain combines a 1.6-liter turbo-petrol engine with 1.49 kWh battery and electric motor, for an altogether now 172 kilowatts per 367 Nm. The official number is 5.9L 100 km. We found it a little more efficient on the open road than around town, with figures in the 5L bracket versus 6L. It's powerful and decently quick, and because the electric motor is in the gearbox, it eschews the usual hybrid CVT for a 6-speed transmission, which makes it more engaging. But tight corners and/or bumpy backroads are no friend of the chassis. It's plenty spacious and practical by medium SUV standards. The extra 75mm in the wheelbase will be a boon if you're moving over from the previous Tucson hybrid. It's powerful and capable of impressive thrift. The 6-speed gearbox is a welcome alternative to the usual hybrid CVT technology. The new cabin is really impressive, luxurious but also full of practical storage spaces. The chassis is easily overwhelmed by Kiwi backroads. It's not as thrifty in town as it is on the open road, and in fact, it's not as thrifty as a Toyota RAV4 full stop. It's also an expensive proposition by class standards. Somebody stepping up from the previous Tucson hybrid to more space. Or somebody who wants a hybrid family SUV and doesn't want to be like everybody else. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.